So how did you first get into the world of comics and art?
Well, I've been actually one of those lucky kids who pretty much knew, I practically popped out of my mom's room with a pencil in hand, not literally, metaphorically, of course, because, God, that would be really painful. Yeah, I pretty much knew since I was a little kid I'd want to be a cartoonist. So, like, one way or another, I kind of, just been working at it and practicing, and I'm pretty much self-taught. So I would be one of those kids who would, instead of doing my homework, I would draw comics, which, thank God I'm relatively smart and could pass the test. Otherwise, I'd have to, I would have failed high school. And then basically got into webcomics after trying to. I kind of thought, yes, surely photocopied comics done in my basement would be the way of the future. Boy, was I wrong about that. But then got into webcomics, and that's been where it got me where I'm at today.
That's really cool. And then, so tell us about your wonderful school of awesome university.
Well, let me put on my dean's hat here. This is the dean's beanie of Awesome University. Also helped to promote a sense of false exuberance. It's imaginary. That's it.
Okay.
All right.
So
I am the sole graduate.
Tell us about your work with Nickelodeon, Tokyo Pop, and Undun Entertainment.
Well, Nickelodeon was kind of an interesting bit. I had actually done a lot of parody comics through DeviantArt, and I had done a set of Four Swords comic, Legend of Zelda Four Swords. And I'd worked with a gentleman by the name of Dave Roman, who at the time was the editor at Nickelodeon magazine, and he was a big fan of the comic series, and I'd done some charity work for him beforehand. And he had asked, like, hey, do you want to, I really would like you, we're kind of phasing out the original comics, I'd love you to do original stuff, but we can't. Would you be willing to draw Diego from Go Diego Go, Dora the Explorer fame? What I didn't tell him is at the time I was making ends meet by dressing up as Dora the Explorer for a company and dancing for children, which isn't creepy at all. I was acquainted with the characters. So yeah, I did about 3 issues of Nickelodeon magazine doing the Go Diego Go comics and a lot of stuff for their international department. So I got really acquainted with those guys doing that. Tokyo Pop's mostly filler stuff, nothing too major. My buddy Maximo, who did a book called Bombos versus Everything, I got to do some art for him for that, and that was a lot of fun. And of course, Udon Entertainment was the Darkstalkers tribute book. I had done work for that. And I'm currently working on. They are doing a Mega Man tribute. It's going to be coming out probably by the end of next year. So I'm doing a couple things for that. We'll see. I'll know in March whether or not it gets in. So that should be a lot of fun as well.
That's cool. And so you do a lot of Voices 4, which is a very good charity CD. So what's your involvement with inside the group?
I am lucky enough to be really close friends with Jan Fraser, who conceived the whole thing and producer and does all this amazing work for it. And she really liked my art and asked if I'd be willing to do some art for the CD cover and some promotional material. And honestly, I'm a cartoonist mostly, so I was trying to it's a very serious subject. So it was my first really trying to tackle some really serious work, and it came out really good. We ended up using some of my images for the back of the Voices for Peace cover, and then the promotional material as well. And then when we did the Voices for Tolerance album, I did a piece for that ended up being the album's cover, which was a lot of fun. And again, really good causes. Voices for is just a fantastic organization. I hope they keep going. I'd like to see a 3rd album. We'll see how that comes out.
All right, so tell us about your unique named parody webcomics.
Oh, wow. Very, very unique. Okay. Well, I've got a couple. I think so. We're in TerraBank Studios. We do webcomics and lots of them because clearly I clearly have no life and no friends. And I don't eat or pee either, apparently. I'm My Own Mascot, which updates Tuesday and Thursdays. It's my autobiographical comic about me. If I was cute, charming, led an interesting life. But actually, it's kind of funny. It's kind of quirky. Kind of turns the whole diary comic on its ear because honestly, I hate diary comics. So this kind of pokes fun at it a little bit. Honestly, a lot of my comics are done out of spite. Like for example, I do a comic called The Last Mystical Legend of the Fantastic Fantasy Trigger Star, or Trigger Star for short. And basically, it's a gigantic troll on fantasy comics and their readers. And it's pretty crude. And I think the first 4 or 5 strips are nothing but poop jokes. I swear, if you read it for the first time, once you get past the poop jokes, there is a story. I swear. So check it out, triggerstar.com. I feel like Ensign Must Die is a parody comic I did with Claire Mosley, who's based out of Canada, and basically we wanted to take the Mary Sue trope of Star Trek fame that's kind of like gone through a lot of fan fiction stuff. The idea of this perfect, flawless character that everybody loves, and we want to inflict that like a comical over-exaggeration. If actually, some people would argue it's not an over-exaggeration at all, but a comical interpretation of that trope, and then just fling it on the Trek of the 2009 movie. So they basically got to deal with that, and she breaks Spock. I don't want to say anything else about it because it'll be a spoiler, but yes, Ensign Mary Sue breaks Spock. But check it out; that's all online. And of course, it's been syndicated through Trek Movie and a few other Trek sites as well. And then Potluck Comics, last but not least, Potluck Comics, which is what Ensign Sue actually runs through. It's actually kind of a mixed bag of different, usually parody stuff, because we don't want to draw too much attention to the parody stuff. I mean, it's fun, we like doing it, but really we like concentrating on stuff that's 100% our own characters. But parody is a lot of fun, and everyone likes it. But Potluck is kind of the repository of I don't even know if that's a word. I don't care. Storage unit. How's that? Storage unit for those comics.
All right, and so what are some of your favorite Saturday morning cartoons from the past?
Wow. Okay. I'm sure they probably told you I ran the Saturday morning panel here on Saturday morning, which is kind of cool. I am a huge Masters of the Universe nerd. In fact, if you guys know about the Daily Show, Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart rally, I was there dressed as Skeletor. Okay, with a gigantic sign with He-Man on it, with a Hitler mustache, painted socialist on it, or something, and just walked around saying like, "Yep, I don't agree with him, so he must be Hitler. I hate him." So yeah, a big Master Universe stuff, but like pretty much everything, like Thundercats. I didn't think too much of it when I was a kid, but the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. Which I didn't think much of it as a kid, but as I gotten older and I picked up like the collector's edition DVD of it and watched the entire thing, and it's really like sophisticated, especially like even by today's standards, it's pretty well done. So that's a lot of fun too. And I'm not all embarrassed to say I'm a big Strawberry Shortcake and Rainbow Bright fan. So you know it. I'm not gonna sing any theme songs for you though, I promise.
Okay, so has Saturday morning cartoons changed a bit over the years since you were a kid?
Well, they changed in the fact that they don't do them anymore. I mean, really, no, seriously, somewhere around the early to mid '90s, NBC did it first, just dropped Saturday morning, and as a result, most of the big networks just stopped doing it. I mean, you've got like some of the syndicated stuff, like Disney does stuff on ABC still, I think, but really, like Saturday morning is all but dead. And if I could, really, if I didn't already dedicate my life to this endeavor, I think that would be a cause worth having. Bring back Saturday morning. Because you can call it nostalgia. I don't care. I think there's something magical about getting up early, and it got kids up early on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So getting up, watching cartoons. Yeah, we're being advertised too, but hey, welcome to America. It's capitalism. Deal with it. But it's fun, and so I miss that. And I would love to when I have my own children to be able to set up Saturday mornings with them and watch some great cartoons. In the meantime, we've got DVDs. I still have my VHS tapes. In fact, they're probably lurking around here somewhere. I think I got my copy of Dinosaurs around here somewhere. Dinosaurs! Anyway, so yeah, that's a good time. So definitely bring back Saturday morning. Write your congressman.
Okay, so is there any upcoming projects you want to talk about to get out to your fans? I mean, you already talked about all your webcomics, which are great to review and great to read.
Thank you.
So what about any secret projects, maybe?
Well, I will, before I get to the secrets, I will like to say, if any of you read Sucks to Be Ouija, I know it's been 2 months since the last update, and since it is a side project, I swear to God, next week there will be an update. I promise. I don't know when this is going up. So by the time you see this, you can go on the site now and there'll be a new one. I promise. And we're going to try to get a book out for that, like a parody book out for that, probably by Anime Boston. But I'm working on 2 original projects right now that the first one is kind of a children's book kind of comic, but basically the concept is baby's first ninja training manual. And if you can picture this, you've got Daddy Ninja, who's basically like Ryu from Ninja Gaiden practically, with a bow tie. And he's teaching his little pink ninja daughter the ways of the ninja. But we want to try to make it all ages, so we're going to kind of try to tiptoe around the assassination stuff. But it should be a lot of fun. I'm sure there's going to be a few ninja stars with the groin jokes, because I just can't get enough of that kind of thing. But something I'm kind of working on, I haven't decided the direction it's going to go for yet, but I've been really getting into Russian fairy tales lately, and I don't want to give away too much. But there's a Russian fairy tale that's one of my favorites that I want to I want to adapt it as I want to take this kind of fun but also pretty serious Russian fairy tale and adapt it as a buddy comedy. So that should be fun. I don't want to say anything else other than that. I'm hoping to post character designs at my DeviantArt account, kevinbolk.deviantart.com, within the coming months, and then we'll kind of build up hype from there. But other than that, I'm gonna keep mum about it. But yeah, we'll actually be in the Anime Boston dealers room with a lot of new stuff. Gonna do some reprints of old stuff, and I'm gonna have an art book of a lot of the prints here that have gone out of print that we don't circulate anymore. So lots of good way to catch the art that you might have missed if you came to a convention to see me last year.
All right, well, thanks so much for coming on out to Ohayocon. That was great to meet you.
It was great. And let me say, man, Ohayocon knows how to treat its guests. I'm used to webcomic guests being kind of dragged around by chains and with bread being thrown at, where they throw bread at you maybe if you're hungry. Okay, that's a gross exaggeration. But anyway, but Ohayocon, they've just been fantastic. So go, guys. I hope every other convention's guest relations strive to be what you are.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.